Hey, welcome to episode number 21 in the Paul Nichols podcast show. Today, we're going to be covering the harsh truth that no one will explain to you. This is going to be a very eye-opening episode. So let's dive in. So the harsh truth. What we're talking about here is the harsh truth on how it is really going to work when you first come to the internet and you try to make money and you try to succeed on the internet, because this internet thing is a completely different world compared to the offline world. It is a completely different place. Things work differently, things happen differently. So what I'm going to do right now is, so instead of me actually telling you how to do things, I'm going to show you the process and the journey that I went through, so you can see how difficult, time consuming and painful it can sometimes be. So I came to the internet in 2007 and it was November. So November 2007 is when I bought my first laptop, many years ago, and I decided that I wanted to work online, work on the internet, so that I can start to make some money, because I'd kind of lost a lot of faith in jobs, because I had quite a few jobs and none of them really worked out. Yes, it could have been partly my fault, it could have been partly the company's fault, and maybe a little bit of both. But for one reason or another, it just didn't ever work out for me. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a big change. I'm going to go to the internet. I'm going to start to build some websites and start to try and make some money somehow. I didn't really know how it was going to work. I didn't know anything really about the internet. In fact, in 2007, I could barely even send an email. I was that bad. So this was November in 2007. 2008 was when I started to just dive in. And this is what you're going to find. When you come to the internet and you start to look around and you surf social media and YouTube and you start watching videos and you start learning, maybe you've bought a few courses already, maybe you haven't, maybe you've had some coaching. But the process that normally happens, and this does happen for most people, is you are going to spend quite a while, and it can sometimes be years. It's not always years, sometimes it can be months, but you are going to spend quite a long time in the trenches, because this is the process that I've found most people go through. I've gone through it, and a lot of my online business friends have gone through it as well. So when you first start out, don't expect everything to be crystal clear on exactly what you need to do to move forward, because it isn't always like that. You will have to go through a little bit of uncertainty for a period of time until you get to know how the internet works, until you get to know how to use certain tools, and then you need to decide on an actual business model that you want to progress with. So all of this can take a little bit of time. And I started my journey in 2008. It was January. Now, between November 2007 and January 2008, so 2 or 3 months, I played some online poker, and that was what I got involved with. And I quickly realised that it wasn't something that I could really make much money with. It was just far too difficult. Not only that, but I didn't want to gamble in a way to actually build a business. So that didn't really interest me after a couple of months. It was a bit of fun, but then I moved on. And from January 2008, for about the next, I would say, 4 years, up until 2012. So I would say around January 2012. So I had spent 4 years, and in this 4 years, I did make some money. I tried different business opportunities. I tried SEO, I built websites, I built lists, landing pages, you name it, I tried it. I tried all different things. Now, for me personally, that took me 4 years to really figure out how to make a little bit of money and kind of like my direction to move forward. But even in 2012, I still had not actually decided the actual business model that I wanted to push forward with, like for the next 15, 20 years. In all honesty, I don't think many people actually do. I think the way it actually works, and this is kind of how it worked for me, is you just begin to do things that you enjoy that also makes you a little bit of money. And then what happens is, as it makes you money, you keep doing it and you get better at it, and then you just keep doing it. And then you start to become so good at it, then you just keep doing it. And this is how it normally works. Sometimes you can consciously decide on, well, this is the model that I want to use and pursue, so I'm going to use that. And sometimes you can do that. But I found with a lot of people is you just happen to just use a particular method or business model and you just keep using it. And then before long, you start to succeed with that. And then you just end up just keep going with that. And this is what I did. So between 2008 and 2012, as I said, I tried lots of different things. Niche sites, I built lists, created some products, made a bit of money, done okay. It was kind of like a part-time income. But then it wasn't until about 2012 that I realized that I was actually quite good at creating digital products. And that was what I did. So from 2012, I spent more time creating products and video courses and training. So this is what I did. So from 2012 up until I would say 2020, I made lots of different courses, coaching courses, premium video courses, you name it. I created a massive library of training for my customers and subscribers. And this is what I'd done from about 2012. The first course I made was I taught people how to build websites and sell products as an affiliate and make money with Amazon and also from Google AdSense and rank websites in the search engines to get lots of free traffic. And that was the first course that I made. So from 2012 onwards was when I realized that I was actually quite good at making all of these courses. So I just kept doing that. So what I did was I then created a library of products from 2012 onwards, which I then sold on various digital marketplaces. This is how I did things. Now, what I want you to understand in today's episode is that you won't necessarily know right now what your direction is going to be. It depends how long you've been doing this stuff already. If you've been doing this stuff for less than a few years, then you're likely going to be in the same position as I was here, sort of between 2007 and 2012, where you're trying different things, you're not sure what you should be focusing your time on and your efforts into. And I want you to understand, and I want to tell you right now that that is completely normal. Please don't think that you're going to come to the internet and suddenly decide overnight exactly what you're going to do to move forward, to make money and build a business around. If you do, then you are very, very fortunate and quite lucky, because this doesn't hardly ever happen. Most of the people that come online will go through a process of learning, failing, trying different things, because you kind of need to just try things to see if you enjoy them. I've built many websites over the years in this period between 2008 and 2012. I built lots of sites and I did lots of things that I didn't enjoy. So then I looked back on that and thought, well, that isn't what I want to do. I tried various different things. So after that time, after I'd got to about 2012, I'd made some money. It wasn't a waste of time by no means, because I'd figured a lot of things out. A lot of the things that I knew I didn't like to work on, and things that I just didn't like. Some business models I just didn't like. So that 4 years was very, very important. Now, you might be able to, like what took me 4 years to do, it might only take you 6 months. And this is the secret. You need to try and condense down this 4 years that took me. I mean, some people, I'll be honest, some people are still going through this stage after 10 years. And this is the trap that people fall into, is that they're constantly going round in circles. And it took me, as I said, 4 years, just over 4 years, to actually figure out what I wanted to do. But even in 2012, I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew that what I was good at did make me money. So I just did that for the next 8 years. And we will get to what I did after 2020. So going back to my original point of, so if you're going through this stage at the moment where you're jumping from product to product to product, from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, to program, don't always necessarily think that this is going to be a complete waste of time. All I will say is try not to spend too much money. I mean, you're going to obviously have to buy the occasional product here and there, but if you can do all of that and not spend too much money, you gain the experience of going through this process. And this is something that not many people will actually tell you. This is very, very deep stuff, and this is normally the cycle that happens when you first come online. There are some exceptions. Some people might be thinking to themselves, well, Paul, I come to the internet and within 3 months I become successful. I set up a website, I didn't waste any time. And yes, some people will succeed much, much faster than others. However, exceptions don't disprove the rule. And what generally happens is, this is the process that people go through. And it can take anywhere from 6 months all the way up to 10 years. And this is what normally happens. You go through this process because what it is, there's so much information to consume. There's so many business models and there's so much content out there and there's so many people telling you what to do. It's very difficult for you to remain focused and be consistent on any one particular business model, because just when you start to do something on a regular basis and you start to be consistent, you'll come across someone's email or someone's video and they'll tell you to be doing something different. So then you go and jump to something different, and it's very, very difficult to remain consistent and focused and disciplined. It's very, very difficult. In fact, it's probably even more difficult now than what it was when I was starting out in 2007, because there's more people online now. There's more people on social media. There's more YouTube channels. There's more websites. There's more videos, and there's more people. But that's not to say that you can't break through and you can't get to the point where you have actually figured out what you're good at and what you're not and what you enjoy spending your time on. And this is what you need to understand, is that this process is what you will generally have to go through. Maybe you have already gone through this yourself. Maybe you are already going through this yourself. Leave a comment and let me know. But this is normally, for most people, I would say for 99.5% of people, this is the process you will have to go through. You will go through a period of just buying things, testing things, trying things. You'll fail at things. People will second guess you. People will ask you why you're wasting your time on the internet. Why are you wasting time making videos on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, making websites, doing this, building a list, creating a product. I've been there and I know exactly what it's like. So you have to use this time wisely to figure out exactly what you like, what you don't like, and just get a feel of how the internet works. If that means buying some courses here and there and trying different things, then so be it. Just try not to spend too much money. That's my best advice. I'm not going to say don't go out and buy anything, because the reality is you have to buy things and you have to try things and test things to really get some experience. And that's just the way it works. So this is what happened for me, 2012, well, 2008 to 2012. From 2012 onwards, I then created lots of products, and that was when my income really did start to increase. And then from about 2015 onwards is when my income drastically shot up, and this was when things really did start to work for me. And then 2016, I built my first membership site, and then I actually ended that membership site in 2018 because it wasn't how I wanted a membership site to function. It's a long story, but when I make some episodes about membership sites, because this is what I'm passionate about, this is one of my main parts of my business, my membership site, Coffee Shop Income, I learned a lot of different things back in 2016 to 2018, and I've now changed things to how I do things now in my current membership site. And I look back at that 2 years and I learned so much to do with membership sites, and I now, as I said, I've now used a lot of those things that I learned back then in my business that I have now. So from 2018 onwards, I just kept releasing products, and then that takes us up to 2020. And then around 2020, about 5 years ago, I changed things slightly, and I didn't create as many digital products, so I slowed things down. And then in the last couple of years, I then started to focus more on building out a whole new membership site and different courses for my customers, and this is now my main business. So my main business now is my membership site, Coffee Shop Income, and that will be around for a long time, but it's taken me a number of years to get to that point. It's not something that you can sort of work out overnight. It can sometimes take a long time of you trying different things and seeing what you enjoy. So I've got other income streams as well as my membership site, but my membership site is my flagship. That's like my main hub in my business. I've got other things that I do. So now you know my story and how I did things from 2007 all the way up to where we are now in 2025. So this is like nearly 18 years. So 2008 to 2012, that took me 4 years to go through the process of trying different things, testing different things, making a little bit of money. I mean, the money I made wasn't fantastic. It was enough to maybe supply me with a part-time income. I was making between $300 and $1,000 a month. Not every single month for that 4 years, but some of it. And that was what I done. So I tested lots of different things. I learned a lot of things. So my advice to you is, if you're going through this stage, just try to enjoy it as much as you possibly can, because it will serve you well. And depending on what stage you're at, maybe you've just started to go through the process. Maybe you've been going through the process for so many years that you're still not sure what to do now, and I totally get it. I totally understand. Perhaps you have gone through this process for a few years, the same as me, and maybe you come out the other side and you realized exactly what you then needed to do to actually build a real business on the internet. You know, what market to go into, what niche, how you're going to get traffic, etc., etc. But going through the process of starting out when you first come to the internet, trying to figure out exactly what you want to do, and then how you want to make your money, and then how you want to progress moving forward. It does take a little bit of time. So please don't think that this is something that you need to decide on overnight, because it generally doesn't happen. Like I said, there's a lot of information to learn. There's a lot of courses that you can possibly go through, things that you're going to learn, methods, strategies that you're going to test. You are going to fail at certain things. Sometimes that's the best way to learn. This is just the way it is. It can be a very painful and a very frustrating process and experience. However, use it for what it is. Now, when I was going through this process, no one explained to me, like I'm now explaining to you, that this was kind of normal. I just thought I was a complete failure and a complete loser. I didn't realise that this is actually quite a normal thing to go through. You just go online, test different things out for a while, get the feel of things, and then you can work things out from there moving forward. But it is very difficult to do it on your own. So I want you to understand and now realise that it is very normal and very, very common to go through a process when you're trying different things out and you're making mistakes and you're failing, and you may have spent a little bit of money, you may have lost some money. As I say, hopefully not too much money. Hopefully you can buy courses for quite cheap. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money, but it is your decision at the end of the day. It's your choice. If you feel like someone can help you to bridge that gap, and this is what I'm going to finish with, because the gap is when you first come to the internet. Now, let's just say now, yeah, and in order for you to come out the other side, maybe it might take you 2 years, let's say. It took me 4 years to kind of figure things out, yeah. Now, I don't know if that's longer than most people, but I know myself that a lot of my customers and subscribers have been going through this process for 5 or 10 years. And they still haven't come out the other side to actually understand and realise what they want to do and how things actually work on the internet. But you're here, for instance, yeah, this is just an example, and say if it's going to take you 2 years, the one way that you can shorten this experience is early on, if you were to get some help, and then someone could help you to bridge that gap, so it doesn't take you 2 years. It might only take you 3 months of like messing around. And maybe you're currently going through this at the moment, and maybe you're 2 years in or a year and a half in. Whatever the case, you can sometimes, well, you can get some help. I mean, if you want coaching, you know, you can go and get some coaching from someone, and they may help you to bridge that gap, so you get from there to the end much sooner. It just depends on personal preference. Some people choose to get coaching, some people choose to get some one-on-one tuition, which may help you to bridge the gap. Just because you do get coaching and you get tuition from someone, that still doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to be on the right path and you're guaranteed to be successful in so many months' time, because there's a lot of different variables to consider. There's lots of things that go into actually knowing exactly what to do moving forward. And some of that, unfortunately, does just come down to experience. So if you really are serious about bridging this gap, but you don't want to go out there and spend tens of thousands of dollars working with some guru coach, I totally get it. Right? I've got a free 7-day bootcamp. And in this bootcamp, I'm going to show you how to start generating your own internet-based income in the next 30 days. This is a completely free 7-day bootcamp. All you need to do is go and enter your email at coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. Enter your email, and then I'm going to give you access to the free 7-day bootcamp. You can't access any of this training on YouTube or any of my podcasts or any other video platforms. This training is strictly on my own page. So it's not here on my YouTube channel or on any of my other video platforms or on the podcast platforms. This is all different training. So if you want access to the 7-day free bootcamp, I'm going to help you to piece together exactly what you need to do moving forward to start generating sales and profits in your business in the next 30 days, starting in the next 30 days. So this is exactly how you can do it. So whether you've been doing this stuff for 3 months, 3 years, or even 15 years, this will definitely help you. So everything I'm going to be showing you in this bootcamp is a result of over 18 years of me making mistakes on the internet and building my own business. So everything I'm going to be teaching you is a result of everything I've learned myself over almost 2 decades of doing this internet stuff. So go and grab your free 7-day bootcamp and I'll see you on the inside. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully this will save you a lot of time. And if it doesn't save you a lot of time, it will at least give you a little bit of peace of mind now moving forward, so you can be confident that you're not just wasting your time. If you are going through this process, you know that this is quite common. This is something that a lot of people do go through. You are going to go through this process. You will spend some time learning, failing, buying some courses, trying different things, jumping to a different program, jumping to a different product. But one thing I will just say is use this education wisely, because you should really treat it as education. Do it for as long as you need to do it, but don't do it for years. Try to bridge the gap as best as you possibly can. As I said, it took me 4 years, but now that you've seen this video and you've watched today's episode, you should know, now that I've explained it, exactly what to be aware of and how you can bridge the gap and start to succeed and start seeing results on the internet, start making money and seeing traffic and start making sales in your own business much, much faster. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.